It's time for Big Joe and Laura's Need to Know News on Mix 95.7.
A leap day baby was born at Butterworth Hospital at 12:32 a.m. The baby was named Rory and was born to Ellery and Daniel. Rory weighed in at 6 pounds, 13 ounces and measured 20 inches long. Now, Rory's birthday actually is kind of cool. It coincides with what would have been her great-grandparents' 60th anniversary. I love when certain dates like that line up. Like my father and my brother, they had the same birthday. I think that's so cool. This is really rare, though. Now, when are they going to celebrate her birthday? It's leap year, right? It's on the 29th of February. That only comes around every 4 years. Well, the parents say they're going to celebrate on February 28th every year except for a leap year. That's really cool. Our next story, we're heading out to Muskegon, where this Saturday it's the Polar Plunge, and a first-grade student at Orchard View Elementary School will be taking part in that. He's going to do the plunge in honor of his classmate. The student's name is Ty Johnson, and he will be jumping in honor of his classmate with Down syndrome. This is Ty's teacher just talking about how good of a kid he is and everything that's going on with this.
Ty, he has a gentle spirit. He has a love for kids, and Ty just wanted to honor Cam and show his support for students who might need a little bit more help and support along the way. And so he helped raise money for that also last year and doing it again his second year.
Oh, that is so awesome. So have fun this weekend, and I think it's a great thing you're doing. And your final Need to Know news story, I wonder if you saw this because I could not stop laughing. Did you see West Michigan get some love on The Daily Show? They were recapping the Michigan primary that happened earlier this week, and well, as they were discussing Michigan, this is what happened.
Where are you on the hand?
Over here on the western palm.
Oh, interesting. I'm just a little southeast of the thumb.
Oh, you simple, stupid thumb folk. I had no idea. Must have been wild cutting class to snort car grease in that abandoned Pontiac factory.
Oh, right. Okay. Like you guys had it so good in the West selling tulip bulbs so you could buy tickets to minor league West Michigan Whitecap games.
You take the name of the West Michigan Whitecaps out your mouth, thumb boy.
It was good. They had so many Michigan references, including Eminem, the Lions. I actually have this for you right now if you want to check it out and watch the video. It's really good inside the Mix 95.7 app. That's your Need to Know news here on Mix 95.7. Okay, we got to see what's going on here. My wife just texted me, and I believe she's on the phone now. It's Big Joe and Laura on Mix 95.7. Babe, what's going on?
There is something in our house.
What do you mean?
Like a ghost?
No. Well, maybe a ghost. I don't know, because I didn't actually see anything. But no, like a squirrel or a mouse or something. There's something in here.
Okay, so what are you hearing? Because I've been in this scenario, and maybe I can help you diagnose it.
It's like some scratching. I'm afraid to open the door to the laundry room again.
Oh, so you can hear it inside the laundry room past the door.
Like, I heard some scratching and some things like moving around. Yeah, there's something in here.
Is it very persistent scratching? Like, is it happening constantly, or is it like a and then it stops for a little while?
It stops for like a little bit, and then it starts again.
Yeah, there's something definitely in there.
What do you mean?
No, okay. So, like, I lived in this terrible apartment before I moved here in Louisville that had, like, a weird problem where things would get into the roof of it and they would get into our walls of our apartment. So, like, I had a Sterling in the wall of my apartment for like a week at one point that could not get out. It sounded like a squirrel or something in there. And eventually they ended up cutting into my wall to release this bird, which flew around my apartment for, like, no kidding, an hour while they tried to catch it and get it out. So if it was in your wall or something, it would be pretty, like, not that persistent. So there's a small chance it could be behind something or in your vents or something, but it's not uncommon that birds could get in through, like, your dryer chute.
My apartment I was renting when Joe and I were dating, we did have a squirrel take up residence in our attic of that house.
Yeah.
And we could hear it sometimes, and it sounds kind of like that, but it was so clear and loud. At first I thought it was coming from the ceiling, but then honestly, I was like, I think it might actually be, like, in the laundry room.
All right, Lindsay, listen.
We are here with you right now.
Yeah, we need you. Why don't you go into the spare bedroom, grab the gun.
Don't grab the gun, just grab a broom. You don't need to shoot whatever it is. Nothing in there is going to eat you.
Yeah, what if it has rabies? Okay.
It doesn't.
Real quick, whatever you need to protect yourself, do that. Have the dogs by your side. We need you to go in right now.
We need you to open the door and see if you see anything.
Okay.
We're here with you. You're not alone. So if anything eats you, we can immediately call 911 and hope that you survive.
We're going to sit back and listen. Just tell us what you're doing. We'll be listening.
Okay, I just opened the door to the laundry room and turned on the light. I don't see or hear anything anymore.
That's a good sign. Are the boys with you?
No, they're not. And they really should be, because if it's a squirrel, they'll have it taken care of in no time. I'll have a bloody squirrel in my house.
I was going to say, you
know.
almost might want to let one of them sniff around and see if they can't pinpoint it for you.
That's a good point. I mean, what's the point of having terriers, right?
Exactly.
Where are they at? Have them look.
Hey, come here. All right, go. Can you find something? Is there an animal in there? They're both just staring at me blankly, so I don't know.
Just tell Benny there's a squirrel. He'll find it.
Benny, squirrel. Hold on, they just heard a noise downstairs. I'm wondering if it's on the move.
All right, babe, hang on a second. I want to find out what's in our house, and hopefully it's nothing that bad. We'll get to that coming up in just a couple of minutes. Hang out. It's Mix 95.7. This morning is pure chaos. Hey, it's Big Joe and Laura on Mix 95.7, Grand Rapids' best mix. I believe my wife Lindsay is still on the phone. To recap, if you're catching up, there is some kind of weird sound that is in our ceiling. We don't know what it is, and I guess my dogs are going crazy this morning. Lindsay, what's going on?
They literally just ran downstairs barking.
Follow them.
Go.
Oh, gosh. Where's the guy? Oh, guys, quit barking. They're trying to go in the backyard. What if it was in the dryer vent and it went downstairs and, out again?
All right, let them outside. Let them outside.
Yeah, let them outside. See what they find.
Oh, my gosh. They're, on it.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
There is a giant squirrel in the backyard. Oh, my God. Benny just about took out our fence.
So I think you found your culprit.
Benny, yeah, I think that was it. That was a fat squirrel. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, I got a chonker next to my house right now, and I'm like, sir, Weight Watchers, it is the new year.
All right, so what are we going to do? Do we call an exterminator? I don't even know what to do if it's getting into the house.
I feel like you could get, they make a mesh thing you can put over that opening to where it deters them from getting in. Obviously, they can chew through it eventually, but they're less likely to. So I would start with that before you go spending a ton of money.
Yeah, if it came in through the dryer vent, we're going to have to just put something over the opening. Now, if it has taken up residence in the attic, that's a problem.
Yeah.
We might have to go up there earlier today and see if we find walnuts. That's literally how we knew there was a squirrel in my old apartment attic.
All right, well, Godspeed. Good luck with that.
My landlord called a guy, and he opened the door, and a bunch of walnuts fell out, and he was like, yep, you've got squirrels.
It's the Big Joe and Laura Show on Mix 95.7. Playing Laura Can't Lose today, representing Grand Rapids, is Bailey.
Good morning, Bailey. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Hey, can't complain. It's the end of the week. It's a nice time to be around.
Let's see if you can take Laura down today, Bailey. Go ahead and kick her out of the studio.
Get out of here, Laura.
Yeah! Come on! Ba-cha! Okay, it's going to be like this, Bailey. You're going to get 1 minute to answer 5 questions. You can pass if you don't know the answer. We'll come back if time allows. The tie goes to Laura because Laura can't lose, but you can take her on again the next day. Question number 1. What 2013 movie starring Sandra Bullock and George Clooney is set almost entirely in space?
Gravity.
Question 2. In which U.S. city did the first Starbucks open?
Pass.
Question 3. Who starred as Walter White in the TV series Breaking Bad?
Pass.
Question 4. Who is the lead vocalist of the band Coldplay?
Chris. I don't remember his last name. Pass.
Question 5. Which comedian voiced Shrek?
Mike Myers.
Question 2 again. In what U.S. city did the first Starbucks open?
DC.
Question number 3 again. Who starred as Walter White in the TV series Breaking Bad?
Bryan Cranston.
Question 4 again. Who is the lead vocalist of the band Coldplay?
Chris Martin.
I'm going to bring Laura back in.
Laura! La 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 Laura!
All right, I'm back. I'm here. Let's do it.
All right. Well, you know what? You do have a chance to beat Bailey today. If you get 4 right, you'll tie her, but 5 could get you the win.
All right, let's go.
Okay, Laura, question number 1 for you. What 2013 movie starring Sandra Bullock and George Clooney is set almost entirely in space?
Oh, no, I don't remember this movie.
That's not good.
It's not Armageddon, but I'm going to answer it anyway because it's the only space movie I can think of right now.
No, Bailey knew it. It was Gravity.
Oh, I did not see that, but I vaguely remember it. Okay.
All right, Bailey's leading 1-0 going into question 2. In what U.S. state did the first Starbucks open?
That would be Seattle, Washington.
All right, we got a tie game now, 1-1. That is correct. It was Seattle.
Woo-woo.
Going into question number 3, who starred as Walter White in the TV series Breaking Bad?
Bryan Cranston.
That's correct. We have a 2-2 game going into question number 4. Who's the lead vocalist of the band Coldplay?
Oh, it's Gwen Stefani's ex, Chris Martin. Wasn't he married to Gwen Stefani?
I don't think that's true, but...
he was married to somebody famous.
Okay, I'm just going to stick with Chris Martin before you somehow mess this up. All right, you both got that right, so it's 3-3 going into question 5. Laura, what comedian voiced Shrek?
Mike Myers.
Okay, we got a tie game today. That is correct.
Woo-woo! It was Gwyneth Paltrow. I Googled it. It wasn't Gwen Stefani. It's Gwyneth Paltrow he was married to.
Okay, Bailey in Grand Rapids, we've got a tie. Would you like to come back and play again?
Absolutely.
If you're lucky enough to be able to afford a house, you know it can be a struggle trying to actually find one that you like and that's somewhat in your budget without breaking the bank. Hey, it's Big Joe and Laura here on Mix 95.7, Grand Rapids Best Mix, and we got a message from a couple in West Michigan that have found their home after looking, but it sounds like there's a catch. What's going on, Laura?
Her and her hubby have been looking for houses for months, and they finally found one that is in their budget, but when they Googled the address, she said, I learned that it was the site of a murder 20 years ago. I love true crime stories, murder podcasts, but I'm not really sure that I want to live at the scene of one. My husband says I'm being silly because people die in almost every house, which isn't as comforting as he thinks it is. But what should we do here? Would you buy your dream house if it was the scene of a murder before you lived there? Are you going to buy the murder house, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, unless there's still blood on the floor, like if they clean it up. I mean, I'm not saying it's a wonderful place, and I'm sure maybe you want to do something spiritually to what people say, sage it. Maybe I don't know, but would I love the fact of that? No, but as long as it was like 20 years ago and not 20 days ago, I think I'd pull the trigger. Especially if you can get a deal on that. If it's sitting around.
I mean, okay. Here's the thing. I'm going to say the quiet part out loud here. How bad is the murder? Because if it's just like something that's not like, if it's a serial killer, no, I'm not buying that house. If there's been a ton of trauma there, but if it's just like, a mild murder of like crime of passion in the heat of an argument or something like that, maybe it's a little less haunted. So I feel like I lean more towards that kind of murder. But if it's like this guy killed 16 people, he's a terrible, I don't want that house. That house has bad vibes. I don't care how much you sage it. It isn't going to get the bad vibes
just
out.
Light some incense. She'll be fine.
How murdery the murder house is as to if I'm willing to move in.
All right, let's say good morning to Kevin from Allegan. Hey, what do you think about this? Would you get a house for on the cheap if there was a murder that happened in it?
Well, my recommendation would be no, because I happen to be the owner of a home in Allegan that has had a death in it, and I cannot sell the place if I tried to.
Wait. Is there like bloodstains everywhere? Why can't you sell it?
No, nothing like that. Nothing, it wasn't a murder or anything like that. It was just somebody died in the house, and it was a, pretty prominent neighborhood where it happened, and, I show the house to people all the time because I'm trying to move myself, and, they'll love the house, but the second they find out that somebody died in there, they just go running, literally. And it's nothing crazy. Like, I have witnessed and experienced some stuff in there.
Whoa. Like what have you experienced? Because it's like, if it's like a squeaking door, it's another thing. But are like your cabinets opening and closing? What's happening?
So I've got a rocking chair in the living room that will not stop rocking. It never stops moving. If I hold it with my hand and let go, it will start rocking again.
Nope.
The lights have gone on and off in rooms that we're not in, and it's not one of those where like it's an electrical issue. The switches have actually been flipped up and down. There's nothing crazy like scary that has happened. It's just kind of odd stuff, like somebody's messing with me,
Okay, see, that's not that bad, Laura.
No, that is totally a rocking chair that doesn't stop. Absolutely,
it could be a draft. It could be a draft. Now, if Kevin would have said something he hears a voice saying, "Get out."
Well, okay. There have been. I try not to tell people this, but when they ask, I'm going to be truthful. I have heard things that sound like voices in the house. They're nothing threatening, but they very clearly do know my name.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and give you a suggestion. Instead of trying to sell that house, maybe you should just burn it down.
I got a lot of money invested in that house. I can't let it go that way.
Oh, God. Well, thank you for your personal advice. I didn't expect to talk to an expert this morning about it. Kevin and Allegan, we appreciate you this morning.
Absolutely. Have fun.
616-600-0957. Would you live in a murder house? It's Big Joe and Laura on Mix 95.7. If you've tried to buy a house, you know how tough the entire process could be. What if you found your dream home, but there was a catch? Laura, what's going on with this couple?
This couple found a house. They think it's really great. No one seems to be buying it. It's because a murder was committed in it 20 years ago. And they want to know, is it worth buying the murder house or not?
Let's say good morning to Angie in Hudsonville. So what are your thoughts on the murder house? Would you buy it?
Initially, my thoughts were like, yeah, that's no problem. But then I was like, well, if there's documented paranormal activity, it might be a no for me.
She's like, if anyone else has seen ghosts, I'm not interested.
I'm very affected by that kind of stuff. Like, I believe in it, but like in general, if there's like no documented paranormal activity, even if the murder was kind of rough, I generally wouldn't mind as long as I love everything else in the house.
Angie, when we first started talking about this, my wife Lindsay was listening on the radio and she just texted me, I'm surprised you didn't mention we lived across from a murder house in San Antonio.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I totally forgot about this. So Angie, Laura, check this out. We lived when the pandemic began, just before we lived in Indianapolis. I worked in radio. Lost my job like a lot of people did, so I had to find another one. I went to San Antonio, Texas, and the house that we ended up buying across the street, man, a nice younger couple that had a baby, and they were kind of reclusive. Come to find out, though, they never told us, but these old couple that would drive by in their minivan, Barbara and Pat, this an older couple, kind of the neighborhood gossips,
Sure.
They told us that, like, oh, you know what happened in that house, right? I'm like, no. Turns out the guy that lived there, his dad ended up killing his stepmom, then killed himself.
Oh, gosh. So it's just a really tragic, terrible thing.
Yes.
So,
my
that's one of the ones that I know it's terrible, but I think that's one of the it's not like a serial killer.
But you're talking about
good,
that energy. If you believe in any of that stuff, like that's got to be in that house.
Got to be bad.
A new
vibes.
coat of paint ain't going to get rid of that.
What about some sage? Do you think the sage will take it out?
Potentially. I've seen it documented, so potentially. But so another thing that with Joe talking about that is like the stigma in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
That's the previous caller. That's why people aren't buying the house.
Everybody knows the story, and you're never going to sell that house, even if there is nothing going on.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah, it's kind of like the lady that owns the Breaking Bad house. Like, she lives in the house that they filmed the outside of Breaking Bad, and she can't sell it because no one wants to deal with all the tourists. And so she just yells outside at people constantly because of this. It's the same kind of deal where it's like everyone knows this house is a famous house and no one wants to take it off. Or she's practically trying to give it away. She just wants to get out of this house so bad.
Although I do want to say, Laura, I am a serial killer connoisseur. Like, it's interesting to me, all of those shows and those kinds of things, podcasts.
True crime junkie.
I probably wouldn't. Yeah, I probably wouldn't mind living in a house that had a serial killer kill someone in it.
You might be able to monetize it, honestly. Like, if you could just do some tours, it could really work out for you.
Exactly.
Angie in Wyoming, thank you.
Thank you for calling.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Bye.